Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becky and I like to read. Today I have a book haul slash vlog for you. I accumulated a good number of books in March. Some of them I picked up just like at bookstores, and then I also went on vacation in March to Savannah, Georgia and to Charleston, South Carolina, so I bought books while I was there as well. So the first half of this video I'm just going to share the books that I picked up at like Barnes & Noble and things like that, and then the latter half I will share some vlog footage with you from my trip. So the first 3 books I picked up at Barnes & Noble, I hadn't been to Barnes & Noble in a month but I wanted to go and I found some books. So the first one I picked up was Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I am slowly making my way through V.E. Schwab's books, so I decided to get this one. I really like that it has, hold on, let me find it. It has illustrations in it along the way, which I really like. Even though I'm an adult, I still love books with illustrations in it. I think it just adds to the story. So hopefully I like this one. This next book was a complete cover buy. I've never heard of it, but I spotted it on the shelf, and it was The Last Quintista by Donna Barba Higuera. Know nothing about this book. I just saw it sitting on an end cap and I was like, ooh, that's pretty. And then I picked it up, and as I started doing, I flip open the dust jacket and look what I found. It's a snake and it goes all the way around to the back. So, I mean, I really didn't have to read the synapse of it because once I saw this, I was like, sold. I don't care what you're about. You're pretty, so I'm gonna buy you. And the last book I picked up at Barnes & Noble, I called my friend Kristen and I was like, I want you to pick which one of these books you would like me to buy. And she ended up picking The Clan of the Cave Bear by Jean M. Auel. Not sure I said that last name right. So this is a book that I have had on my radar for a good decade. Like, I've known it existed for a good decade. I'm not too sure what it's about. I think it is like caveman era type things, maybe. I don't know. But I've had it on my radar, and I finally saw it in this nice size. The ones that I've seen in the past have always been the mass market paperbacks, and I didn't want to read that. So I spotted this one, and I was carrying it around, and I called my friend Kristen, and she told me I should buy this one because she had it on her shelf, and she wanted to buddy read it. So that's what I bought. I then had some books that I did in an unhaul, which might already be out. If it is, I will link it down below. You can see all the books that I didn't decide to keep, but I took several to my local used bookstore and got store credit and picked up a couple books. The first one I picked up is Night of the Wolf Moon by Kimberly Loth and Nina Walker. I've seen this on Instagram. I'm not sure if it's a young adult, new adult, or an adult paranormal romance, maybe, but I've seen it around. It had this pretty cover. I'm a sucker for animals on the cover and blue. But I know it's a paranormal romance, so hopefully I enjoy it. The other book I picked up is The Slade House by David Mitchell. Never heard of this book. I believe it's a historical horror, maybe, or mystery. Hopefully it's horror, because mysteries just aren't my thing. But it sounded really spooky. There's like this door, and it leads somewhere, or it's got something behind it that people aren't supposed to open this door. It's really short, store credit again, so if I like it, I like it. If I don't, it's no big deal. And the last book that I'm going to share with you before I get into like the vlog of my vacation is A Nameless Witch by Aileen Martinez. I actually bought this off of Pango Books, and I would like to thank Rye at Rye's Reading Corner for turning me on to Pango Books. I will have her channel linked down below if you want to check her out. I started a Pango Books account and I sold some books on there, and because I set up a Pango's book account, I got $5 credit. So I saw this book. It was one of my top 10 books from last year, and I wanted to own it in physical form. It only cost me $3. So it's in really good condition, and I'm happy to put this on my shelf. And if you want to check out my Pango Books account, I will have it linked down below. There's no books for sale on there right now because I have to accumulate books in order to put them on there. But I did have 3 at one time. They all sold really quickly. So if you're looking for a place to sell used books, I would highly suggest checking out Pango Books. I have gotten paid for the books that I have sold already, so that's good. So it's legit, and I highly suggest you check it out. I had never been to Savannah, Georgia, and my best friend had never been to Georgia, so she flew all the way from Alaska, and I flew from New Jersey. We met up there for a week, and because Savannah is really close to the South Carolina border, and neither of us had been to South Carolina, we decided to drive over to South Carolina as well. So we ended up in Charleston, and we weren't there for very long, but we did end up like downtown Charleston, along the riverfront and things like that. Charleston was called Buxton Books. I got this tote bag from them. When I go to indie bookstores, I always like to buy something with their logo on it if they have anything. So I picked up this. And I ended up picking Solimar and the Sword of the Monarchs as well. I tried to be very good and only pick up one book there, but I went back and forth throughout the store trying to decide on what to buy, and I ended up on this one. This was a book that was, I think, in my January anticipated releases video that I wanted to read, and I saw it there, so I figured I might as well pick it up. I really liked that bookstore. It was really cute and quaint. It had a good selection of new books. It had some like blind date with the books, and the people who worked there were really nice and helpful. So if you're ever in Charleston, South Carolina, check out Buxton Books. While I was in Savannah, there were 3 bookstores that I managed to get to. However, I only really liked one of them. I'm not a big fan of unorganized used bookstores where they have like things stacked on the floor and there's just like no real organization to the books. I especially hate it when the books are stacked like this, because then if I want something at the bottom, I have to like wiggle them out. So I didn't end up really enjoying the first bookstore I went to. The second bookstore I went to was really cute, and if you're into vintage books and older books, you would definitely like it. It's got a really great atmosphere. It's really organized. It's really clean. It had a great atmosphere, but I am not somebody who reads like older books and vintage books, so it really wasn't my vibe. But I did get to finally meet my friend Jessica at Jessica's reading room. Here's a picture of us. And so that made it worth visiting for me. But if you are ever in Savannah, Georgia, and you like vintage books, I would highly suggest you check out Books on Bay. The last bookstore I visited was called Shaver Booksellers, and I will insert some footage from that here. So I really loved this bookstore. It looks small on the outside, but when you go in, it has all of these different rooms. I just walked in and I was like, oh, this is my jam right here. So I ended up walking away with an Shaver Bookseller t-shirt. I also got 2 books. I picked up Namesake by Adrienne Young. I really enjoyed the Fable duology, and I saw this one there. I want to get Fable, but I need to find a copy of Fable that doesn't have like the YA book club permanent sticker on it because I hate that. I also picked up The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is an adult fantasy. I believe it is Norse inspired, and it involves dragons and other Norse mythology set in a Norse world, which really fascinates me. So hopefully I enjoy this one as well. My friend Jessica and her husband drove down to visit me in Savannah, and we ended up at Barnes & Noble because the bookstores that we went to, most of them closed by the time she got there. So we went to a Barnes & Noble and I picked up a couple books there as well. I got When We Were Birds by Ayanna Lloyd Banwo. Probably screwed up that name. This book involves some sort of like romance between people, and it deals with death or something like that. I read the synopsis. It sounded like something I would enjoy. And then the other book I picked up is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. I've seen this book around. People really seem to like it, so hopefully I do too. We went to a couple different places, one of them being Tybee Island, and we went to the Tybee Lighthouse station there. They had a gift shop, and I walked in, and what do you think was right there along the wall? But a bunch of books. And I was like, hold up, let me browse. Most of them were things like haunted places in Savannah or the history of Savannah or something like that. But this one had a lighthouse on it, and it was called Destiny Revisited by Eleanor Tremaine. And I was like, ooh, that looks different. Let me read the back and see what it's about. So based on the synopsis, I think this might involve some time travel, but the last sentence of the synopsis really caught my eye. It says, that is until a multi-millionaire introduces a naive Gabby to a special world of sexual intrigue. I was like, sold, I'm good. That sounds like something I would enjoy. So here it is. I asked the cashier if this was like a local author. She didn't know, but look what I found at a lighthouse gift shop. And lastly, we went to dinner at the Pirates House in Savannah, which is a really famous restaurant. It used to be a hangout for pirates, and it's supposedly supposed to be haunted, and it has a lot of history. They have a gift shop. There were books. So I picked up Savannah Folklore by Nicole Carlson Easley, which is just a book of short stories and folklore in Savannah. So I was interested in some of the Savannah folklore, so I figured I would get this book. So that is my March haul / some vlog footage from vacation. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these books. Let me know if you've ever been to Savannah or Charleston, if you live there. I would totally go back. It was incredibly beautiful. I loved the history of the area. And I sort of got New Orleans vibes from Savannah, just not as crowded and not as dirty. Not nearly as much voodoo history and things like that, but still it sort of gave me those same vibes. So I would definitely go back and check it out some more. So until my next video, thank you guys so much for watching, and read something great for me.